Dr. Joel Wallach was a veterinarian, and now, but it's so much more than that, pathologist, somebody who studies animals and human beings, and today has an option, a different option, and a different take on the way we should be taking care of ourselves, and actually a product. So talk about the product that you have, and then we'll get into this a little more.
Well, if I may, just 2 sentences before I do that. I've spoken to the United Nations twice on this subject at the UN building. I'm going to speak again twice this year because as countries go from third world to first world, within 10, 15 years, they're broke financially because of medical cost. And again, the thing that makes me different is I have a degree in agriculture. I'm a veterinarian. I'm a pathologist. My one big project, I've done many big projects, but my biggest one was 20,000 autopsies with the National Institutes of Health. And that book, 1,200 pages with all the chemistries and everything, is in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure. Okay? And so I just want to let you know that I'm not just saying these things without some experience. I don't think your doctor's done 20,000 autopsies like I've done. Right. On that one project. Yeah. Okay, I've done totally some 38,000 autopsies. Another big project was 1,700 in kids under the age of 10. 1,700 autopsies of kids under the age of 10. So when I speak about these things, I'm speaking from published experience, okay? Right. And so, again, the question is... Longevity. Oh, longevity, the company. Oh, well, I realized that I had something very important in 1977 when I discovered the cause, prevention, and cure of cystic fibrosis. I was working at the Yerkes Primate Center in Atlanta, Georgia, Emory University, and I'd already done like 30,000 autopsies by then. I ran into this first case. I'm sure people had seen it before, but they didn't recognize. I recognized as cystic fibrosis right away, did all my due diligence, found 24 other baby monkeys that were in the same colony but not related to each other at all had cystic fibrosis. So I knew it was an environmental problem. Tracked it down. They had stored blood samples from the parents every month for 6 years. It took me 2 weeks to figure it out. They were deficient in a single mineral. And gave these other monkeys that mineral, and they all got cured. Okay? And so got it published. And, of course, they fired me because they said, well, I said cystic fibrosis isn't a genetic thing like doctors think. It's a simple nutritional deficiency, easily reversed. I can reverse the genetic marker, which is found in 17 other diseases that aren't related to cystic fibrosis at all. And they fired me. He said, Wallach, you're saying outrageous things. Yeah. Okay. And so I went back to school and became a physician to treat these kids. Well, I realized I'm getting so many people. I'm getting 500 new patients a day back then. I'm getting 10,000 a month now. And so I couldn't deal with this by myself. Most doctors in the clinic will see 20 to 35 patients a day, and they're busy. Right. I'm seeing 500 a day. So I had 3 nurses, and we're running around like crazy. And I had to come up with prepackaged programs for simple things like diabetes and arthritis and fibromyalgia and Alzheimer's disease, kidney failure, get people off of dialysis back to normal lives, high blood pressure, you name it. I could get rid of 900 different diseases using nutritional programs and prepackage them. So the nurses, if you walk in with diabetes, they know what to give you. They don't even need to see me. I see the really hard ones. Obesity, I deal with the people 600 pounds and above. If you need to lose 50 pounds, the nurses take care of you kind of thing. Okay? And so this is how I work this. Well, I had to even get bigger than that. And so I started a company and taught wonderful people like Ms. Kelly here who are interested in people, who are interested in their health. They take this information and they give the information to the individuals, and we could cut the cost of medical care in America by 85–90% right now, because we prevent, for instance, you have bone-to-bone arthritis in your knees and your hips. You don't need knee replacement surgery and hip replacement surgery. My program, within 90 days, you'll regrow your cartilage and go back to a normal life. Okay? And so, of course, there's this rift between me and the medical system because they make their living by doing surgery.
So why is that, though? Because if
they make their living by doing surgery. Right. They have mortgages and 3 ex-wives they have to pay payments to, and all that kind of stuff, and 3 kids in Harvard and so on. Right. And so they require money, and there's no oversight to the medical trade. They're the only industry in America that has no oversight. Nobody checks their billing. Nobody checks their accuracy in diagnosis and treatment. As a result, they're the #1 cause of death in America. They're the #3 cause of death in America. Not according to me, according to the Center for Disease Control. Okay.
Can you just turn that mic? Yeah. Okay. So someone's asking about your product, and what do you see? How much is it? How how often do you have to take it?
Yes.
And what about proof?
Okay, sure.
Can you offer proof?
Yes. Well, first of all, I've written 14 best-selling books. I've got the big one, 1,200 pages in the Smithsonian Institute, National Treasure. And again, you have to appreciate my work is based on $100 billion worth of research, not my own. I've done $100 million worth of research.
I don't. To me, that doesn't mean anything.
Well, you asked me proof. I'm giving you proof.
Let me cut to the chase.
Yeah.
To me, proof is these 10 people over here had a condition of whatever.
Okay.
Pick a
Let's
condition,
say obesity.
And your product cured 9 of them or 8 of them. Those are pretty good numbers.
Cured 12 out of 10.
Okay. Well.
Okay. Let's talk about obesity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
We're the #1 obese nation in the world. We followed this theory, failed medical theory, that obesity is due to eating too much and lack of exercise.
Yeah.
No, obesity is really due to a deficiency of a single nutrient. There's a certain class of nutrients, and any one of these nutrients in that class, if you're deficient in any one, you're going to gain weight. There's 3 of them. If you're deficient in any one of those, you're going to be the 300, 400, 500, 600 pound person. And so
it does seem that way. Like some people seem to be destined. They're born to be a certain. No matter what they do, they can't. That's not true.
No.
Okay.
Okay. And so there's many reasons why they could be deficient. They could be deficient because it's just not in their diet. They could be deficient because they're supplementing, but they can't absorb it because they have a gluten problem. Their intestines are damaged. Not efficient in absorption. Usually when people are 200 pounds overweight, they have a gluten problem. You got to get them gluten-free so they can absorb things. Their intestines heal. You give them the 90 essential nutrients. And within a week, they start losing a half a pound to 2 pounds a day. And within, you're talking, they can lose 90 pounds in 3 months. I get people who lose 352 pounds in 7 months.
Wow.
600. I get the 600-pound people. And so obesity is very easy to deal with. And you say, how long do you have to take it? Well, this is not like an antibiotic. You get bacterial pneumonia, you take an antibiotic for 2 weeks, you kill the pneumonia, you don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
Well, how long do you need oxygen? Every day for your life. How long do you need water? Every day for your life. How long do you need these 90 essential nutrients? Every day for your life. So our motto is 90 for life.
Got it.
Okay? And so the reason why we're deficient is because we have electricity. We're not putting wood ash in our gardens anymore. We've dammed up the rivers so we don't get the silt every spring during the spring floods. And so you have to make up the difference by supplementing. Now remember, I'm a veterinarian and a physician. And in veterinary medicine, we learned this 100 years ago because we don't have health insurance for animals.
Right.
And a farmer would go out of business his first year if he didn't give his animals all 90 essential nutrients, those little alfalfa pellets every day. And this gives them maximum production of eggs and milk. It gives them 100 cows are being fed. He gets 100 normal calves. None of them are preemies and have to be in incubators for 3 months. None of them have birth defects, no Down syndrome. They all get it.
Right.
And when I was doing these autopsies, I'm telling you, every birth defect is caused by nutritional deficiency, and we realized in the animal industry, so we eliminated birth defects by giving the animals nutrition. Now, women in America do not take prenatal vitamins until they miss 3 periods. The embryo is already damaged.
Okay. Do you think they should be?
They should be taking
before they're pregnant.
They should. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're called prenatal, not afternatal.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And so they're supposed to be. And of course, I've done 9 lawsuits against the FDA and federal court, prevailed every time. One of which was getting folic acid put into prenatal vitamins to prevent spina bifida. That's me. Okay, I'm the one that did that. Okay, I've gotten selenium. My 9th one here, I got in the trace mineral selenium put into baby formulas you can buy off the shelf in pharmaceuticals and grocery stores, which only had 95% of them only had 3 minerals in the formulas. You need 60 minerals, and babies were like 57 short. When you're short in the selenium, you're likely to get muscular dystrophy, cystic fibrosis, and SIDS. Every baby that dies of SIDS was on a formula. There's no breastfed babies that die of SIDS. Okay, so
is that a fact? I mean,
that's a fact.
Zero.
It was a big study done by India.
Yeah.
And we're talking millions of people.
I want to just say it's important to me because you said a few things that are in complete contrast with normal medicine, with what our doctors tell us.
Well, they're all criminals.
I understand
That's why only
that.
dead doctors don't lie.
So my question would be, can you? I want to go back to that 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10,
no problem.
9 out of 10.
No problem.
Can you produce those numbers that you take 10 obese people and your formula was able to cure?
Well, they'll
many
lose.
of them?
I can't use the cure word. It's illegal to use the cure word.
Okay.
They will lose a half a pound to 2 pounds a day.
Okay.
Again, every month I get 588-pound women who are 5 foot tall.
Right.
Butterballs.
Yeah.
And
showed a lot
within
of them
7,
on his
we show the
slides,
pictures before and after.
Before and after. A lot
Okay.
of those last night.
Yeah.
And then
We do
the
thousands a year.
cholesterol is the other issue. I mean,
Yes.
people are being told by their doctors, you are at risk for health disease. I mean, we just came out of the
Heart disease, yeah.
heart disease. Just came out of the radiothon, the heart radiothon, where it was where we're told that it's this cholesterol buildup that is
Doctors
causing,
are lying to you.
Okay.
Well, can you get in it? Because I asked during the break. One of the things we screened for was the good cholesterol versus bad.
Right.
You're not saying all cholesterol is good, right? Not
I'm
all
looking-
cholesterol.
Okay,
I'm
well,
looking-
stop. I've got 3
Okay.
questions coming at the same time.
I'm just looking for numbers.
Okay, let me give you a number.
This person's been cured. This person's been cured. This person's been cured. That's the only data I care about. So you can tell us all the stuff, but I want to know numbers.
I can reverse
Because
100
because
okay.
without numbers, let me finish. Let me finish. Without numbers, you're making great charges against people who we trust every
I
single
know that's
day.
a
with
mistake.
our-
You trust the
I
cook.
understand that with our lives, and I can't help but go back to life expectancy has grown tremendously in the United States over
Because
the
of
last 100
antibiotics
years.
and food
Whatever
inspection.
the reason is,
Not
but
doctors.
at the end of the day, I think the only thing that people can get, if you're going to say don't take cholesterol medicine anymore, then you have to offer up evidence, proof that it has to show specifics of people who have been cured of this.
Sir, first thing you have to appreciate is that cholesterol does not cause cardiovascular disease. Cholesterol is not the cause of plaque in your arteries. Get over it.
So you're saying that's not true?
It was
or
a
being
sales
told
no,
is
it's not true. It was a sales campaign to sell Crisco. Okay.
I know you told me that
Yeah,
story.
well, that's get over it. Okay.
Okay, I'll try
Now-
to, but I want you to get over my question and
No.
give me the facts.
Well, I'm gonna okay.
Specifics of people who have been cured. I'm asking a specific question. Please give me. I've done a study, and these 10 people were cured. If you can show me that data, I only care about the data here. Show me, then if
You missed my
want,
presentation
then-
last night.
Then if you want to denounce our doctors
Yes.
and
Been
medicine
doing it for 40 years.
if you want to denounce that and you can offer the proof,
Mm-hmm.
I'm all over it. I'll give you free commercials for your product till the cows come home.
Okay.
But
You're
I need
on.
data and proof.
Okay, we're going to give you copies of each of my 14 best-selling books, which have all the references.
Okay.
Okay. And you better start winding up on the ads.
May I interject
We'll
something?
do this again. I mean,
Yes.
we'll
No,
do
no,
this
you're
again.
Yeah,
going to do
absolutely.
advertisements every day till the cows come home.
Okay, I told you I would do that.
Okay, you're
I
going to
will
get a
do
copy of
that.
every one of my books.
But your book.
No, it has all the references
Okay.
alluding to what you're talking about.
Statistics.
Statistics, yes.
Data that shows people have been saved by your
Oh, of course.
product here. Okay. And by the way, somebody asked how much is it?
Okay.
May I?
I want his
Okay,
answer.
cost.
Yeah.
Okay, this is outrageously expensive. I have to admit that. It's $3 a day per 100 pounds of body weight.
Okay.
Starbucks is $8 a day. Okay? And so to get rid of diabetes in 30 days when you've had it for 30 years for $3 a day, I think that's pretty reasonable. Okay?
So it's again $3 per day
Per 100 pounds of body weight.
per 100 pounds. So it's
So let's
$6
say you
a
have a
day
little
if
old
you're
lady
200
grandma
pounds.
who's 120 pounds. It's going to cost her $3 a day to get rid of her type 2 diabetes.
Okay.
And she's going to save a lot of money because she's got to get rid of the bad foods out of her diet.
Right.
Okay? As well as take the supplements. And within 30 days, they usually go from blood sugars at 240 even with injectable insulin. It's down to like 78 within 30 days. And it stays down as long as they stay on the program. They got to stay on the diet. They
Okay.
got to stay on the supplement program. So it's $3 a day for the rest of their life, which is still they're going to be able
Sure.
to afford their Starbucks coffee.
Believe me,
but
if you can cure someone's,
I can't use that word. It just goes away.
I understand, but people asking questions about autism here. They're
Well, that's
asking
easy to get
questions
rid of.
about
Autism's
autism is easy to
Yes,
get rid
sir.
of.
I was getting rid of that in the 1970s.
Okay.
Doctors' theory was caused by red food dye. How stupid are they?
Right.
Okay.
Well, the
And so-
M&Ms are back.
Okay. You have to appreciate, I take people who are nonverbal, autistic, ADD, and ADHD all at the same time. They're half the size they should be for their age. In 90 days, they're reading the Bible out loud in church and singing in the choir. And in 1 year's time, they grow 14 inches to catch up with their age peer group in size. Okay? Just by supplementation and dietary change. Our brains require 90 essential nutrients. Doctors want to give you Ritalin. How much nutrients are in Ritalin? None.
I don't know
Same
the
thing with
answer to that.
PTSD.
Yeah.
PTSD is caused by nutritional deficiencies of the brain, not seeing a dead body in the street. PTSD is caused because our government does not give any of our military personnel in any branch vitamins and minerals. They give them dry food. They give them.
You don't
canned
think it
food.
has anything to do with what they witnessed and,
No,
and war?
absolutely not.
None at all.
No, I spent 25 years in the army.
I'm going to let Kelly wrap it up here. Kelly, you have to understand, Kelly.
I
some
do.
major charges are being made
Absolutely.
And I do not want to be the person that's
Sure.
misdirecting people on their lifespan here on their
Absolutely.
their
me
lives.
Either. Me either.
That's a very dangerous thing, I think. So.
But I want to just kind of give my feedback. I forget about all of the statements that not forget about those, but aside from all of those statements,
Yeah.
one thing I do know, and this is why I invited him here: Alzheimer's disease, dementia, cancer, arthritis, you name the diseases. Maybe you have this about the lifespan, but we certainly aren't healthier. We might be living, but we're living with chronic disease with no help. We go to the doctor and
Right.
we're on drugs, but that does not make us healthy.
Right.
Therefore, this is what has led me to seek for an alternative. And vitamins and minerals, to me, should not be an alternative if they're producing results.
Do you think, though, that these chronic diseases we talk about didn't exist 100 years ago?
That I don't know.
They did. We died from them.
Yeah.
We died from those diseases. Then.
Those chronic diseases still exist in the world because there's areas in the world that don't have these nutrients in the soil.
Right.
Okay? And so just because you're putting wood ash in your garden, remember, plants only require 3 elements. We require 60. Plants require 3 to make good seeds for their generation. So let's say these tribesmen are living in a place where there's only 3 minerals in the soil.
Yeah.
And they put the ashes in the garden. They're going to die in their 30s and 40s. They're not in the blue zones. The people in the blue zones, they have all 60 essential minerals in the soil, and they're putting their ashes in the garden, but they're living to be 120.
I'm all with the fact that I'm not sure we eat right and all the chemicals in our foods, all that stuff
We
is
rank
bad.
43rd in the world in longevity. Our longevity sucks.
Got it. All right. Well, listen, I'm going to go through your stuff and your evidence, your data, which to me is important.
We'll
I
start
just
making the ads tomorrow.
feel it's, and believe me, when the proof is there, the proof will be in the pudding. We will do your commercials. I'm not sure I have
You're
the
on.
right to be able to do that, but I might be out on the street
you
corner
don't,
promoting that. I don't have the right, but somehow it always seems to somehow happen. So, all right, Doctor. Again, where can people reach you if they have questions?
Through Miss Kelly here.
Okay, and Kelly, how do they reach you?
My email address is ksprague, SPRAGUE, JJ, @gmail.com. Also, if they wanted to look at the 90 for Life program, they could go to kellysprague.youngevity.com.
And you do, I'm sorry, I really am. And you do understand that
Oh,
when
absolutely.
things are said about
absolutely.
our health system, the doctors we rely on and trust.
Enjoy
I know
your $6,000 deductible.
Okay. All right. Mine isn't quite that bad, but all right. We have no choice but to ask questions.
Of course.
So,
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So maybe we'll do this again.
Okay.
I hope so.
I don't know that Doctor believes that, but maybe we will. Dr. Joel Wallach, thank you so much for your time.
Not even close.
Got a break, and we're out of time at WIBX.